Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Along with our Access Sports Network crew, I'm Dave Stevens, here with analyst Mike Steele.
When playing Access Football 17, there was always something sitting in the back of my mind whenever I loaded up the game. It was a comment from one of the game's producers about the future of the franchise. Specifically, it was about what fans would see with Access Football 18. The phrase was, quote, "I'd be lying if I said we didn't believe we were onto something. And 2018 is going to be huge. It's going to blow people away." That simple statement set up big expectations for the 2018 edition of the series that hopes to give football fans an alternative to the juggernaut that is Madden NFL. With new teams and stadiums, new animations, and deeper modes than ever before, is this finally the year for Access Football to be taken seriously? Let's find out. Access Football has always had a franchise mode of some sort, but it always felt too bare bones. Other than stat tracking, there really wasn't anything that made it worth playing. In Access Football 18, the new and improved franchise is, without a doubt, the biggest addition to the game. You start by picking a team that sits in one of three tiers. There are teams in each tier that range from needing a rebuild to needing just a couple of pieces to win a championship. As you improve your team, you have the chance to move up in tiers. Think of the Premier League. Finish high enough in your tier, and you move up to the next level. Too low, and you could be relegated down. Pretty much everything you'd expect to be able to do in a franchise mode is available. You can trade players, sign free agents, negotiate contracts, manage your practice squad, and more. Now these aren't really first of their kind features, but for everything to be in on the first try for a mode this deep is impressive for such a small development staff. What makes it even more fun is the fact that every team is customizable. Whether you download an already created mod, or make one yourself with real or fictional teams, Access Football 18's franchise mode is one of the deepest experiences an indie sports game can offer fans. Now the only other mode available to players right now is Exhibition Play that allows single player versus the CPU, local 2-player versus play, a coach mode, or an AI versus AI game. There still isn't an online option for players, but that was done intentionally in order to focus on improving the offline experience. The deep customization suite also returns with more options than ever for players. From individual players to full teams, nearly everything you can think of is customizable this year. The hope now is that the suite will include stadiums in future releases. One gripe I had with last year's gameplay was that every player pretty much felt the same. There was no real difference between taking off with a quarterback or making a big run down the sideline with a running back. Access Football 18 feels like it tries to address the issue, but it only fixes a few player control issues altogether. The one major fix is how quarterbacks control in the pocket. No longer do they move around the pocket as if they were a standard ball carrier. Instead, you'll see your quarterback strafe side to side to try and avoid the rush and move within the pocket. It's a small improvement, yeah, but it does make it feel like a more polished game. When it comes to the receivers, there are a number of improvements from last year to this that make you feel like the game really is moving in the right direction. The one that stands out the most to me is that receivers will no longer stop just to catch every single pass. Now, if the throw allows it, receivers will catch the ball in stride to help gain the ever so important yards after catch. You'll also see receivers run accurate routes, as well as try to get open should you try extending the play. It's a far cry from the days of receivers standing around doing nothing until the ball was thrown. Running the ball also feels fine for what it is, but it still gives off too much of a stop on the dime feel that you got back with games like Madden 2004. It's just too easy at times to stop, change directions, and go in the opposite way. That said, it's not too much of a deterrent to take away any fun from the game. Where the gameplay does falter, however, is on the defensive side of the ball. It's just not real fun to play. To tackle a player, you simply need to run into them, and everyone just falls down as if they all just finished a round of Ring Around the Rosie. Now to be fair, there are tackling animations, but they don't really come into play all the time. Covering pass plays feels pretty unimportant as well, as it basically feels like you're at the will of the game as to whether a pass ends up incomplete or not. It doesn't really give off the sense that it takes any sort of defensive skill to get stops or turnovers. While the gameplay and mode offerings are entertaining, there is still quite a bit holding back Access 18 from being the game that fans and developers want it to be. Graphically, the Unity-built game still hasn't caught up to 2018 with its player and stadium designs. There have been improvements over recent installments of the series, but it still gives off a Madden 06-07 feel when it comes to player models than something we would have seen even as long ago as 2012 or 2013. The presentation is also pretty hit or miss. While the on-field graphics like the play visual, stat overlays, and score bug look great, the commentary leaves a lot to be desired. Terry McGovern, the man behind the legendary NFL 2K voice Dave Stevens, is once again back in the broadcast booth for Axis 18. While his calls are solid at times, there's just still too many audio splicing problems to really make it something worth listening to. It gives off somewhat of a speak and say vibe, and it quickly became something that I turned off after just a game or two of listening to. Axis Football 18 is a game that football fans everywhere will enjoy. The gameplay has seen a number of improvements and shows signs of being the series that everyone is hoping it can become. And with a deep franchise mode and the ability to incorporate your own players and teams, the simulation fan can spend hours living out the league of their dreams. Now, if you're looking for it to be the title that gets you away from the Madden machine forever, you're going to be disappointed. However, at an affordable price of just $20, Axis Football 18 is a game that any football fan should check out. For more Axis 18 content and sports gaming videos daily, be sure to subscribe to Sports Gamers Online and hit that bell to be notified whenever a new video goes live, and visit sportsgamersonline.com.